Nick, what went so wrong for the Browns?
Well, everything went wrong for the Browns. And there was a moment in this game where it looked like, despite the terrible start, the Browns were actually going to be able to get back into it. They're down 14-3. They're driving. Baker throws one of his few good passes of the day to Antonio Callaway, the young receiver fresh off suspension. Callaway is going to fall into the end zone, catch a touchdown. It's going to be 14-10. Callaway somehow not only doesn't catch it, pops it up in the air. It is intercepted, and the route is on. I bring that up for this reason. That was the last moment the Browns had a chance to win. But they had plenty of moments after that to stay competitive, and they couldn't. And they couldn't, to me, for two primary reasons. One is what you talked about, C, off the air yesterday, actually, because we didn't talk much about this game on the air, which is your big concern about the Browns' offensive line dealing with first-round pick after first-round pick after first-round pick.
Top of the first round.
Top of the first round. The lowest drafted defensive lineman the Niners have is Eric Armstead, who was taken 17th. DeForest Buckner was taken 7th. Solomon Thomas was taken 3rd. And Nicky Bosa, who you've known since he was 10 years old, if not younger, was taken 2nd and had his best game of his career, of his very young career, I should say. So the Niners D-line dominated the Browns O-line. That's the first reason. And the second reason is Baker Mayfield was awful again. Baker Mayfield struggled again. Baker completed 8 passes, had a passer rating of 13. For context, if you just spike the ball on every play, you get a passer rating of 39. So he was as bad as you can be statistically in this game. Not all his fault, because he was under constant duress. But one last point, see, I thought Richard Sherman said something really interesting, because Sherman had the first pick, and he said Baker's just got to eat that. He's got to know he can't make that play. And then he also added, I knew he couldn't see over Eric and Buck, meaning Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner. Richard Sherman, the veteran corner, knew a 6-foot-tall quarterback dealing with those monsters on the D-line is going to have problems. That was the story of the game. As while the Browns, Baker might not be panicking, but it is close to panic time in Cleveland, especially if you look at their next 2 opponents.
Yeah, what went wrong was one team was well-rested, coming off the bye, well-prepared. Kyle Shanahan hadn't had the talent, hadn't had the arsenal to be able to be in the conversation, but he's one of the best play callers that we have. And regardless of what people try to say about Kyle Shanahan, all these young guys, they're turned into head coaches, your guy there with the Rams and everything, Sean McVay, it's a lot of hocus pocus, but, man, they're trying to hit you in your belly with a gut shot trying to run the football. It's not trying to throw the football. It's not like college. It looks very, very different than pro football. But Kyle Shanahan is a very good coach. And you could see they had it scripted out as far as what they wanted to do against that Browns defense, and they went to attacking them. And when you run that type of offense where you're going to have a fullback, tight ends, and you're going to play a game like it's in the phone booth, a lot like New England did at the end of the season and through the playoffs, you have to have some explosive plays. That was the big difference. That's what went wrong for Cleveland. If you have a team like that, I mean a powerful team, they got 2-3 running backs they can throw at you. They throw 3 tight ends at you. Their offensive line, big, strong offensive line, you have to try to stop them from big plays. And from the first snap, as you could see, they ran that inside zone, and he cut it back. And Cleveland was ready for it. They had 8 guys in the box. The 49ers, that play and every other play that I saw last night, knocked Cleveland off the ball the same way Cleveland went and attacked Baltimore. That was the game plan of Kyle Shanahan and this staff. It was a great performance by the 49ers.
I know we always say, well, they have a shoddy offensive line. Look, the Patriots have a shoddy offensive line, and they're figuring out a way to win. I don't want to put that all on that line, but Baker Mayfield said it's not time to panic. Meanwhile, you got Seattle and you got New England in the next couple of weeks. If this isn't time to panic, what is this time? I mean, how do they right the ship at this point?
Well, the offensive line personnel is not going to get better, so Baker has to be better despite that. You could argue Freddie Kitchens needs to go back to what he was doing at the end of last year, which is helping the offensive line out with more 2 tight end personnel, more 12 personnel. Every time they were in a third and must-pass situation when they went to 11 personnel, it ended in a Baker sack or a hit. They could not block the Niners in 11 personnel, and for some reason, Kitchens wouldn't go to 12. But for Baker, he got to stop turning the ball over now. Like, this is a real thing. 18 starts, 22 picks, 10 fumbles, 26 total turnovers. Like, Some of those fumbles they've recovered, fortunately, but 32 opportunities for turnovers caused by Baker. 26 have actually been turnovers, and he is not the quarterback he was last year. In fact, side by side, you would think the column on the right is his rookie season, and the column on the left is his improved second season, but it's not. The column on the left is last year. Column on the right is this year. That is obviously a line going in the absolute wrong direction. It's not all because they lost Kevin Zeitler, their offensive guard, in the offseason. Baker's been turning the ball over and has not been making the big plays that he made last season. First game of his career without a touch, first start of his career without a touchdown last night. Just part of the problem.
Well, they don't have to hit the panic button yet, but they do have to make some serious decisions. And you could see 2 of Baker's interceptions. They were trying to throw the ball to who? Antonio Callaway. Another guy coming off suspension. It's his first game back, trying to force feed him. During the game, I felt as if they were trying to get Odell Beckham, and they were so trying to get him involved in the game instead of attacking the 49ers defense. 49ers, what they did was attack the Browns defense. What Cleveland, thought they were doing was calling plays to try to make people happy. Antonio's coming back. Let's get him a couple balls. Odell, we didn't get him involved in the Baltimore game, even though we looked great. Let's get him involved early. Let's have him throw a pass. Man, Odell completes that pass early in the first play of the game. They didn't get a completed pass for another 14 minutes. So for Freddie Kitchens, they have to decide, with that offensive line being weak, do I play more tight ends? Do I put one of those wide receivers on the bench? That is a real, real question. And the other thing is, we better give San Francisco some credit.
Yes.
Because we might get to December and look back and say, man, did we miss it? I'm not going to be a part of that, all right? This is a good football team after a week's rest that I believe was well coached in Cleveland, does not match up with the San Francisco 49ers, especially on that offensive line. But I guarantee you, we're going to be on this TV a lot on Sundays and Mondays talking about San Francisco, and you know what? Made another offensive line look bad, because that defensive line right now is on par to be the best defensive line that we have in the NFL.
2 undefeated teams left in the league, one of them because of last night, the San Francisco 49ers and the New England Patriots. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.